Let's talk about the heart of a leader. You're a recruiter, you're with USEREC, you're a leader. Young people see you as a leader, soldiers see you as a leader. The Army has identified you as a leader. But in some ways, a lot of us are leaders, whether we're leading a family, a small group at church, or wherever it might be. So I want to talk about the heart of a leader. And I want to use Moses as an example. This is the last in a series on studying the life of Moses. And I want to go back to what I call Moses' change of command speech. His last words to the people of Israel. They're about to enter the promised land. There's a river between them and the promised land. They're about to cross it and accept their destiny, if you will. But Moses is not going to go with them. Something happened along the way. And Moses is going to die on this side of the river. So the people of Israel are going to go take the promised land. But Moses has one last opportunity to speak to them, to breathe life into them, and to inspire them. And in this speech, in this book of Deuteronomy, Moses shares what I think the heart of a leader. And I want to just look at one verse in the beginning, one verse at the end of this book, and you'll see where I'm going. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 11. First words of this speech, the first words, the beginning of his change of command speech. Moses says, "May the Lord, the God of your fathers, increase you 1,000 times and to bless you as he has promised." So he starts out his change of command speech saying, "Lord, bless my people." And then we move to the end. Deuteronomy chapter 33. Literally, his last words to his people. His last words as their leader. Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 1. "This is the blessing that Moses, the man of God, pronounced upon the Israelites before his death." And I'm not going to read the entire chapter because it's long. But in this chapter, tribe by tribe, every person in the nation of Israel, Moses asks God blessing on their families, their descendants, militarily, agriculturally, relationally, in every way, shape, or form. Moses' last words, if you will, "Lord, bless my people." The heart of a leader is one that cries out to God and says, "God, bless my people. I do what I do so my people can be blessed." But there's more to the story. There's something else I want to share that kind of ups the ante a little bit, and you'll see where I'm going in just a second. Exodus chapter 14, beginning with verse 10. The nation of Israel has just been liberated from Egypt. They're kind of running away from Egypt. Pharaoh has a change of heart, decides to go after them. The Israelites discover this, and listen to their reaction. "As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to the Lord." And this is what they said to Moses. This is verse 11. "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone. Let us serve the Egyptians. Let us serve the Egyptians, be slaves'? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." So the paint's not even dry. The ink's not even dry on the contract. And the Israelites are having second thoughts about Moses, questioning Moses' leadership. But that's not the only time that it happened. Exodus chapter 17. They're about 2 weeks into the journey. They're having a hard time finding water, and the Israelites grumble against Moses. Exodus chapter 17, verse 3. And they say, "Why did you bring us out of Egypt? To make us and our children and our livestock die of thirst?" So again, they face a little bit of a crisis, hard time, and their knee-jerk reaction is to say, "Moses, you're a horrible leader. You don't care about us. You don't care about our blessing." And then I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, Numbers chapter 14, verse 4. They're on the edge for the first time of entering the promised land, but they encounter a group of people living in the promised land that are huge, that are strong, powerful, and they have second thoughts, and they say to one another, Numbers chapter 14, verse 4, "We should choose another leader and go back to Egypt." And so throughout their relationship, The Israelites challenged Moses' leadership, caused Moses so much stress, brought him to his knees, brought him to tears. He suffered much inner turmoil and stress because of the same people he was seeking to bless. And I just think that is so true about leadership. I've had it said to me, as a pastor, you are the shepherd of the flock. Sheep bite back as you're trying to feed them, as you're trying to help them. I've had it said to me that if you're trying to turn around an organization or a church or a business or anything that is struggling, you will not do it without tears. And I have learned that firsthand. Yet, the heart of the leader is one that says, bless my people, despite the fact that they bite back, despite the fact that they cause me so much stress, despite the fact that on Friday night I get a phone call that just kind of wrecks my night, wrecks my weekend, and I have to focus on this issue of my sheep biting back at me. But let me just share with you, and I'm closing with this, the degree to which Moses lived this out. The degree to which Moses lived this out. Deuteronomy chapter 34. This is the last chapter of the book. This is kind of like tying the bow on Moses' life. It says, Then Moses climbed Mount Nebo from the plains of Moab to the top of Pisgah, across from Jericho. And there the Lord showed him the whole land. This was the whole promised land, and I'm going to jump a little bit. As far as Zoar. He just showed him the whole promised land from on top of this mountain. Verse 4. This is the land. This is God speaking. This is what the Lord said to him. This is the land I promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, when I said, I will give it to your descendants. I have let you see it with your eyes, but you will not cross over to it. And Moses, the servant of the Lord, verse 5, died there in Moab, as the Lord had said. Again, Moses never made it to the promised land, a land that he led his people to, that he suffered through in order to bring them to the edge, but he never made it. And I just want to close with this about the heart of a leader. And it is something that John Maxwell teaches in one of his books. It's called The Law of Sacrifice, which is an integral part of leadership. And that law, very, very simply, is that a leader must give up to get up. And as you rise in leadership, your responsibilities increase and your rights and privileges decrease. You can see it in that chart there. The law of sacrifice was the heart of Moses' leadership. He never made it to the finish line, to what he was fighting for. He never saw the complete joy and ending of the Israelite destiny, his mission, if you will. But he did everything he did and suffered much along the way because he bought into this law of sacrifice and the heart of the leader that says, Lord, bless my people. So why do you do it? Why do you lead? Why did Moses do it? Why did he lead? Lord, bless my people. Make that your heart. Make that your prayer for whoever it is that you're leading. Walk in peace and have the best day possible.